Do archaeologists see Christianity the same way that religious believers do?
How reliable are the gospel writers like Luke? We need to hear the opinion of an archaeologist on this matter.
Does Dr. McRae's view on the census, Nazareth, the massacre in Bethlehem, and the Dead Sea Scrolls match what religious people say and what we've been told?
And also, stay with us as we ask a historian whether there are any external sources and outside evidence for Jesus. Today, I, Mary, Dr. McRay and Dr. Yamauchi are here with you to share new and fresh insights. Your perspective might completely change. Dr. McRay, in your opinion, if we look at the New Testament from an archaeologist's point of view, does its credibility increase or does it lose credibility and get weakened?
Without a doubt, the credibility of the New Testament increases, just as the credibility of any ancient document grows when excavations show that the writer was accurate about a place or event. I'll give an example from my excavations in Caesarea on the coast of Israel, where Herod the Great's harbor was explored. For a while, some questioned the accuracy of Josephus, the first-century historian, regarding the size of the harbor. But when underwater excavations were conducted, it turned out Josephus was correct. This was Luke, a physician and historian, wrote the Gospel and the book of Acts, which make up about a quarter of the New Testament. Scholars agree that Luke was a very accurate historian, and archaeological findings have repeatedly confirmed his attention to detail. Luke 3:1 mentions Lysanias as Tetrarch of Abilene. Initially it was thought to be an error, but an inscription confirmed it. Acts 17:6 mentions Politarchs in Thessalonica. No earlier evidence existed, but now over 35 inscriptions confirm it. The apparent disagreement between Luke and Mark about Jericho can also be explained by changes in the locations of ancient towns. A careful study showed that Luke wrote accurately about 32 countries, 54 cities, and 9 islands. So if he was precise in these details, why assume he was wrong about major events like Christ's resurrection? For example, the Pool of Bethesda with 5 porches. Excavations confirmed it. A copy of John 18, around 125 AD, was found in Egypt, showing the Gospel was written very early. Mark. Jesus' travel routes align with ancient maps. No archaeological finding clearly contradicts the Bible. Many claimed Nazareth didn't exist during Jesus' childhood, but archaeologists like James Strange consider it a small village of around 480 people. First-century tombs confirm there was a settlement. Even skeptical historians like Ian Wilson admit Nazareth may have existed during Jesus' time.
Doctor, some people say that no massacre occurred in Bethlehem because no evidence of it remains.
There's no independent confirmation of the massacre, but Bethlehem was very small, Herod was ruthless, and news didn't spread. So it's plausible it happened even if it wasn't widely noticed.
Do the Dead Sea Scrolls, of which some fragments remain, have any connection to our religion?
The Dead Sea Scrolls provide valuable insights into Jewish life, but don't directly mention Jesus. One scroll, 4Q521, written about 30 years before Jesus' birth, contains a phrase like, "The dead will rise," which matches Jesus' response in Matthew 11:4-5.
Well, Doctor, in my opinion, none of these things alone are reliable evidence, and none of them can solve our problems, because knowing archaeological facts without a religious context does not allow us to choose our faith based on these criteria, nor does it provide the certainty we need.
Exactly. These conclusions from different perspectives help us make a choice rather than one or two puzzles resolving everything.
Doctor, previously I made a video on my channel where, in the book The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins, Richard says that the mystery of the census is actually a post-event fabrication. In other words, it's a story that was created later to show that Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and that this birth had already been predicted by previous prophets in Judaism.
The Gospels say Mary and Joseph had to go to Bethlehem. Archaeological findings and inscriptions confirm such censuses happened. There's still a time discrepancy between Herod's death and Cyrenius' rule, but research suggests there were two men named Cyrenius. The census likely fits a 14-year cycle.
Thank you for giving us your valuable time.
You're welcome. I wish you success.
Many people say there isn't much external evidence for Jesus Christ. As Charles Templeton says in the novel The God Science, Jesus Christ is not mentioned at all in secular history. Today, we are indeed joined by the esteemed Dr. Yamauchi, a distinguished New Testament scholar who has profoundly dedicated his entire professional life to this significant and intricate field of study. In short, he has received 8 academic scholarships from various institutions, has presented 70 scholarly articles in 22 languages around the world, and he was born into a Buddhist family but became a follower of Jesus in 1952. Let's listen together to this expert's opinion on the question that there is no external evidence about Jesus mentioned in secular history.
Josephus was a first-century Jewish historian. He refers to James, brother of Jesus, and Jesus himself. If someone had added material later, they would have praised James more. So this is outside evidence confirming James's existence and that Jesus was recognized as the Messiah.
Doctor, I had previously heard from a source that there are also some writings by Pliny the Younger which can be used to examine Jesus from a historical perspective. In your opinion, is this real or is it just a rumor and an unreliable source?
Correct. He was the nephew of Pliny the Elder. In a letter to Emperor Trajan, he explicitly mentions imprisoned Christians, showing that Christianity spread rapidly in cities and villages.
One of the challenging issues in the Gospels is that it is said when Jesus was crucified, the earth became dark. What is your opinion? Is this just a kind of literary writing, or did it really happen?
Thales attributed the darkness to a solar eclipse, which is illogical. Other sources like Phlegon and Tertullian also report the event. So non-biblical evidence exists for the darkness during the crucifixion.
Doctor, who were Pilate and Sejanus? Could you explain more about them for us?
Pilate was the Roman governor of Judea. The Gospels show him as cautious and humane, while other historians depict him as harsher.
Do non-Josephus Jewish sources mention Jesus?
The Talmud has passages referring to Jesus as a false Messiah and magician, and mentions his unusual birth.
So even negative sources partially confirm facts about Jesus?
Exactly. Traditional Jewish sources confirm he was a healer and teacher with disciples.
In this video, we are dealing with 2 of the figures whom the journalist whose book we are making this video about interviewed. In fact, a diligent journalist interviewed 13 esteemed experts on the New Testament, their expertise ranging extensively from accomplished archaeologists to distinguished historians and specialized scholars in ancient texts, and I am now presenting his remarkable book to you in the comprehensive form of a video presentation. I will also put the main link to the book in the description. Of course, the characters interviewed in our video have been created with the help of artificial intelligence, and we are sharing this with you to make the video more beautiful and appealing. In fact, all the sentences spoken by our characters are taken from the book The Case for Christ, and I will definitely put its link in the description for you. If you'd like, you can read the book, and if you want to watch this video on our channel in an even more beautiful way, do so to become captivated by it and gain useful information. If you've watched the video up to this point, I'm sure you've gained a lot of new information and knowledge. And to help keep us motivated, please make sure to like this video. It won't cost you anything. If you'd like, stay with us for the rest of our research. Next, we'll be asking an expert in ancient texts. Since we don't have the original versions of the Gospels now, how can we prove that they haven't actually been altered and that there's nothing wrong with them? Also, in the upcoming videos, we'll talk to a historian and a theology expert and ask them how the evidence shows that the Gospels weren't influenced by the culture of their time, and whether the authors could have had other motives, or if they actually recorded the facts for us. We'll address and challenge all these issues in the next video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so we can explore the facts about religions without any bias. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well. Until the next video, goodbye.
If you are satisfied with this information, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Until the next video, goodbye.